Oh, Megan. We're only getting started.
Good
evening, I'm Megan.
Speaking of start, let's start this game, huh? And let's start the campaign. And let's enter the usual name. And let's enter story mode. Wait, experience the story without the stress. No. Oh, this is the difficulty. Here, recommended. Broadcaster, sure.
That's all coming up on tonight's National Nightly News.
Coming to you live from somewhere in England.
Hi, David, I have a call for you. I'm just putting it through. All right, mate. Dave here. Listen, I know you've only come in to clean up the place, but I've got a bit caught up, so you're going to have to run the news tonight. Now, don't worry, it's not hard, and I'm going to stay on the phone and help you. First, I'm going to give you a quick tour of the broadcast room, so if you're not doing it already, look forwards towards all those screens. Right, look up at the top. That coloured bar is your audience. You want to keep the viewers going up and not down. Underneath that, you've got the screens. The one on the right is the broadcast screen. That's what the viewers are seeing at home. It's only a couple of seconds behind the master screen there in the middle. That's the one you control. Now, the four small screens on the left show the different signals coming from the studio, and you can choose between them using the numbered buttons on the vision mixer at the bottom left. These plugs control everything in the studio. I've left them set up for you, so provided you haven't fiddled with them, all you have to do now is
God,
throw
I hope
the
this is not
master
too
trip
complicated.
switch and we're in business. Once you've got the power on, face the front again. You can see on the broadcast screen that we're in the end titles for the show before us. Fortunately, they go on for fucking ages, so there's plenty of time for me to explain. Oh,
Very big
okay,
cast,
they're over, so we
apparently.
haven't got long now till the broadcast. Right, quickly, mate, look down under the desk. You can see a load of videotapes on the left. They're your adverts. Pick any three and load them into the machines on the right. When you've done that, look up to the front again.
Take on 4 old ladies from East.
Salad,
That's followed at 8 p.m. by award-winning
made by Crazy Neil,
which tonight looks at the
as an exercise with ham sleeves. I don't know.
You should be getting a signal from the studio soon.
back and relax with multiple award-winning movie.
Soon.
When you get the signal, select screen 1 with the vision mixer and we're ready to go.
Prawn and mayonnaise?
You know, seafood makes me go out in pustules.
Yeah, thought it might increase our viewing figures.
Every day, you offer me prawns every day.
10 seconds, everybody. That's how I show love.
You're trying to kill me.
And yet you persist, going in 5, 4.
But now, it's time to join Jeremy Donaldson.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main stories tonight.
Okay.
Moving on.
Next is going to be the throw the news titles on screen 2. There'll be a countdown, but I'll count you in as well. Just relax, mate.
Wait, what did he say?
Buys Honest Andy's Totally Independent and corners the flowered market. Sports fans everywhere celebrate as popular footballer Johnny Hamsleeves wins Sports Personality of the Year. And a spoonful of sugar. Megan will be chatting with movie star Lawrence Blunderclatch about his new movie, The Medicated. And, of course, we'll be going live to Advance headquarters to hear what the leaders of this fledgling party have to say on their historic week.
Right.
Oh,
1, 2, in
there you
3,
go.
National Nightly News.
1. Lovely, mate.
You got it, pal.
Next thing is to throw back to Jeremy with button 1 when that globe in the middle shrinks down and vanishes. Here it comes. Switch to screen 1. Lovely, mate.
But first, the votes are in on its decisive
that it?
win for Advance.
We often get a bit of interference around this time, mate. Keep your eye on the machine at the bottom right. Use that slider that's flashing or your scroll wheel to move the wave up and down, keeping the green bit in the white bit.
But critics have accused him of a severe lack of
Oh,
actual
come
policies
on.
and
Do
of
we
being
really need this?
deliberately vague. Former Home Secretary
Right, it's
Jeffrey
going well. All you've got to do now is play the advert at the end of the segment. Make sure you don't play it too early or we'll all get fired. Now the clock at the top is counting you down to the advert. When it reaches 0, press one of the 3 play ad buttons over there at the bottom right. I normally play the
Bottom
first
right.
one at the first break and so on, but you can play them in any order you want. I'll count you into it as well, but keep your eye on the clock.
To hear the co-leader's acceptance speech.
And 3,
That's all coming
2, 1, advert.
1 minute back, everybody. Jeremy.
Oh, Jeremy, good God.
Why?
Wanker Snatch is running late.
I thought I'd ask him about the election.
Personally, I wouldn't try to confuse him with any big words.
This could become very stressful.
With you. I thought that was our little secret. It's all right, he doesn't remember anything I tell him.
I'm deeply uncomfortable with your burgeoning friendship. Yeah.
Look at this salad. Segment grade
Made it to
D.
the first ad break. You're doing great, mate.
Did I press
But this is where it
censor
starts
too
getting
many
a bit
times?
trickier. This next sequence is what we call a multicam sequence, because you're going to be cutting between multiple cameras to keep things interesting. A lot of it's down to personal taste, but here's 3 good rules of thumb. 1. Try and keep the shot on whoever is doing the talking. 2. Don't stay on the same shot for too long, 10 seconds at the most. So if you're on the person who's talking, try and throw in the odd reaction shot or pull out to the wide shot for a bit just to keep it interesting. 3. Don't stay on reaction shots for too long. A couple of seconds is usually enough. Then the audience want to see who's doing the talking,
Oh,
yeah?
this
Stick to these rules
lettuce.
and you'll be fine. It's not as complicated as it sounds. You've seen programmes on television, haven't you? Make it look
What
like
did he say?
those. Might as well get screen 1 selected now.
Who's
No
he?
need to wait for the broadcast to start. Try and stay ahead, mate.
Quiet in the studio.
Thank you so much.
10 seconds, everybody.
Look at this fucking asshole. We will never show him.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
Who am I supposed to?
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Later, we'll be hearing from shock election winners Advance. But first,
Get
our
ready to go to
Hollywood
Megan on
reporter,
screen
Megan
4.
Wolf is here with a star of both stage and screen. Megan?
Thank you, Jeremy. Megan Wolf, culture correspondent. And today I'm
Bit late.
everything from Shakespeare
Right,
to
go to
the
Blunderclatch on screen 3 when she says his name.
by none other than Lawrence Blunderclatch. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, my dear. I do hope you believe me when I tell you.
Switch to 2 for the wide now.
May I say, having you here with us is among ours.
Right, now just try and stay on whoever's talking.
Which is called The Medicated.
The medicated, yes.
Wow, what was that like?
Well, as I said to Peter at the Rat, that's Peter Jensen, the director. Do you know him? He's a wonderful chap, he really is. I've worked with him on several movies, all terribly successful. I said to Peter, what a wild ride this has been. And do you know what, Megan? I really meant that.
Wow, that is fantastic. And am I right in saying that the character you play in this movie is quite an academic one?
Absolutely right. A scientist.
Was that a challenge at all?
What exactly are you implying? But seriously, yes, you're right. It was a complete departure from my last starring role when I played
Get back to who's talking.
Rockman in Bullet Man. You'll remember that was the true story of one soldier's fight for a love that surpasses all others. A love, of course, for freedom. I think it's grossed over.
Get on the speaker, mate.
Honestly, who's counting?
It's a role that saw you scoop 2 Best Actor awards, if I remember correctly.
Completely fucking
But I
myself.
really am not in it for the awards, although those 3 little statues.
But I pretty much announced it.
Too long on
I
this,
wouldn't
mate.
show
With
him.
all the others, I'm sure. So,
He's a
if you're not doing
douchebag.
it for the awards, what is it then that drives you?
That is a beautiful question, Megan, and not easy to answer. Like you, I'm afraid. Cut me, and I will bleed. And often, that's how it feels, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Bleeding. Doesn't it?
Her reactions. She hates this guy.
I suppose in the end, I do it for the difference it makes. I do it for the people that I inspire. The little people. The little people. Change that I can bring about in the world.
And today, of course, we're in for some real change, it looks like, in the coming few months. What do you make of this historic election?
Been on that shot a bit long.
Oh, well. Well, now you're asking. Historic election result. Indeed. Historic is the word. Well, difficult, isn't it? Very difficult. But I think I've always been quite clear that when it comes to politics, one should always strive to not fuck things up.
Oh, don't worry, he won't do it again. Shit, he did it again. Okay, don't panic. I'll explain how to deal with swearing at the break.
Medicated, which opens next week.
Right,
around
they've
the
swapped the
country.
shot of Jeremy on screen one for a VT of the movie clip. You'll get a countdown on the screen, but I'd just let Megan cue you in.
My character, Dr. Lance Hemlock, is faced with a decision that could affect humanity's very survival.
Exciting stuff. Let's take a look. Exciting stuff.
Cool, looks like Blunderclatch is losing it in the studio, but we ain't got time for that. There's more interference coming. It's a bit trickier this time, mate. Use that little flashing joystick to the left of the knob, or hold down your middle mouse or Alt on your keyboard, and as the frequency changes, match it to the white
Wait,
bit by...
what? Which key? I didn't hear that. This one? Yeah, fuck you. This interference bullshit is crap. Oh, do I have to go through everything again now?
Wicked. Use that little flashing joystick to the left of the knob, or hold down your middle mouse or Alt on your keyboard, and as the frequency changes, match it to the white bit by dragging right.
You think I don't know that?
Now we're going to squash the frequency back by dragging left.
Is that it?
Jubbly, mate.
Dude.
Next we're going to change the amplitude. Same as last time, little joystick or hold Alt or middle mouse, and this time push upwards. Upwards, mate, upwards. Now let's match it back by going downwards.
Oh, this takes too much focus. I can't even speak.
Bloody perfect, mate.
Yeah, can we be done now? Thanks.
We have to ask ourselves.
Hey, no signal? What's going on here? What
At the
happened?
end of the clip, you'll want to play another ad. Remember to select screen one now that you've got the feed. Don't wait for the broadcast to go live. That's too late. You can use the number buttons on your keyboard, 1 to 4.
We've got it, you want it, you pay us. You want it, we've got it, you want it. You want it, we've got it, you pay us. Welcome back. And I'm told we can now go live to Advance Headquarters. I'm told we can now go live to Advance Headquarters. Peter Clement and Julia Salisbury are about to make their acceptance address.
There you go.
Their acceptance address.
Cut to the outside broadcast. Oh
Go
shit,
for it,
he's
Pat.
pissed. Get ready to
Go
bleed.
for it, Pat.
Thank you all for coming. So perhaps we should all be celebrating.
Except for the rich.
For
them the party's over. They shouldn't For them the party's over. They shouldn't be putting their shitting pants on and opening their dusty checkbook. Pants on and opening their dusty checkbook.
Boys.
Not inaccurate, but not before we came out here to address the nation, we used our executive powers to pass the Assets and Wealth Act.
Hold up.
To pass the Working with the Tax Office, we have produced a definitive list of every person in the country
Been
with
on that
wealth
shop
into
been
the
long.
millions.
You know the sort of. Probably you rather you don't. Because the likes of you and me are not welcome in their gated communities. But first, you're gonna pay up. You're gonna pay back.
Advance are going to turn this country from a
on the
nation
speaker,
of
mate.
warring individuals
Relax,
into a
dude.
team.
What are these foods doing?
To raise the living standards of us all.
Interesting acceptance speech there from the leaders of Advance. And our apologies for the fruity language. Hopefully we got that bleeped out for you in time. If not, someone's going to be in
The
trouble.
problem so far is that I hardly hear anything they say because I'm so focused on this shit.
Evening at the National Nightly News.
Well, the audience loved it, I think.
Same old boring politics then.
Is this some weird fever dream? Am I dying now or something?
You should be so
How can I
lucky.
stop this? Show them!
I'll see you tomorrow night.
Not
God
going
damn
for a
it.
drink?
No, got a date.
Lucky you. Try not to get murdered.
Broadcast complete. Oh, cool.
When the program's finished, you'll get a broadcast report. It's 3 pages.
Solid
The
Ds.
first page shows you how well the broadcast went.
At least I'm
sequence has
consistent.
An overall grade. Remember, grades mean bonuses, and they keep the boss happy. Welcome to the archive. This is where you can have a quick look back at what you've done and how it looked to the public. There's 3 sections: broadcast, rushes, and adverts. Let's start with broadcast. Click on it now. Over on the left, that's all the broadcasts that you've done. Click on any one of them and hit load tape. Once it's finished loading, you can use the rewind and the fast forward at the bottom there to help you get to the bit you want to see.
In a few moments, we'll be going live to tonight's National Nightly News. But
Do I
before
have to
that,
watch
let's
it?
take a look at what's coming up later on tonight on Channel 1. At 7 o'clock, it's the semi-final of the quotation game, and it's a nail-biting quiz tonight as a team of nuclear physicists take on 4 old ladies from East Grinching. That's followed at 8 p.m. by award-winning documentary series The Shape of Now, which tonight looks at the history of the knee-length sock and its importance during the Great Blackouts of 1871. Not one to miss. At 9 p.m, sit back and relax with multiple award-winning movie The Freedom of Being Colin, taking us all the way up to 11:15, where, as usual, Dr. Adrian Atkinson Blimey will be grilling his guests in Incisors, and tonight sees a return for leading economist Katie Brightman. Finally, at midnight, it's the National Weather Report, before we say good night until tomorrow. But now, it's time to join Jeremy Donaldson for the National Nightly News.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Moving on up, the election win that experts said just couldn't happen. Hopeful or hostile? Controversy as global mega corporation Remington Fist buys Honest Andy's Totally Independent and corners the flowered market. Top chap. Sports fans everywhere celebrate as popular footballer Johnny Hamsley wins Sports Personality of the Year. And spoonful of sugar. Megan will be chatting with movie star Lawrence Blunderclatch about his new movie, The Medicated.
That beep was perfect.
And, of course, we'll be going live to Advance headquarters to hear what the leaders of this fledgling party have to say on their historic victory. That's all coming up on tonight's National Nightly News.
The glow needs to disappear. There we go.
But first, the votes are in and it's a decisive win for Advance. The landslide victory, with an astonishing 81% of the popular vote, is the biggest election win in living memory. Advance appealed to voters up and down the country with their bold promises of permanent change, but critics have accused him of a severe lack of actual policies and of being deliberately vague. The opposition parties have all conceded defeat to Advance's overwhelming mandate, but have yet to appear publicly. However, former Home Secretary Geoffrey Jeffries has issued a statement in which he comments that we have all been seduced by the shiny wrapping paper, but have yet to see the contents of the box. Sounds like sour grapes to me, Jeff. After the break, Megan Wolf will be speaking to a man whose grapes certainly aren't sour, the international heartthrob and inexplicable box office sensation that is Lawrence Blunderclatch. And later in the programme, we'll be going live to Advance HQ to hear the co-leader's acceptance speech. That's all coming up after the break. Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Later we'll be hearing from shock election winners Advance, but first our very own culture reporter Megan Wolf is here with a star of both stage and screen. Megan?
Thank you, Jeremy. Megan Wolf, culture correspondent. And today I have a guest who starred in everything from Shakespeare to the Shotbot films. I'm very excited to be joined today by none other than Lawrence Blunderclatch. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, my dear. I do hope you believe me when I tell you that being with you today is among the greatest joys of my life.
May I say, having you here with us is among ours.
Bless you.
So you've just finished filming your latest movie, which is called The Medicated.
The Medicated? Yeah. Well, as I said to Peter at the Rat, that's Peter Jensen, the director. Do you know him? He's a wonderful chap. He really is. I've worked with him on several movies, all terribly successful. I said to Peter, what a wild ride this has been. And you know what, Megan? I really meant that.
Wow, that is fantastic. And am I right in saying that the character you play in this movie is quite an academic one?
Absolutely right. A scientist.
Was that a challenge at all?
What exactly are you implying? But seriously, yes, you're right. It was a complete departure from my last starring role when I played Sergeant Brock Rockman in Bullet Man. You'll remember that was the true story of one soldier's fight for a love that's impossible. A love, of course, for freedom. I think it's grossed over $1 billion, but honestly, who's counting?
It's a role that saw you scoop 2 Best Actor awards, if I remember correctly.
It's so sweet of you to mention it, but I really am not in it for the awards, although those 3 little statues do take pride of place on my mantelpiece.
With all the others, I'm sure. So, if you're not doing it for the awards, what is it then that drives you?
Oh, that is a beautiful question, Megan, and not easy to answer. Like you, I'm afraid. Cut me, and I will bleed. And often, that's how it feels, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Bleeding. Give me suffering for one's all. I suppose in the end, I do it for the difference it makes. I do it for the people that I inspire, the little people. But most of all, I think I do it for the positive change that I can bring about in the world.
And today, of course, we're in for some real change, it looks like, in the coming few months. What do you make of this historic election result?
Oh, well. Well, now you're asking. Historic election
what a
result.
prick.
Indeed, historic is the word. Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Very difficult. But I think I've always been quite clear that when it comes to politics, that one should always strive to not fuck things up.
Yes, well...
Sorry, I said fuck.
No.
I'm really...
Well,
sorry.
Lawrence, I believe you brought in a clip from The Medicated, which opens next week around the country. Lawrence, do tell us what's going on here.
I'd be delighted. This is a really pivotal scene where my character, Dr.
That
Lord
false
Hadlock,
smile.
is faced with a decision that could have...
Exciting stuff. Let's take a look.
No! I'm shutting this down. What kind of operation are you people running?
Mr. Blunderclatch, I understand you're...
I don't understand.
It's not your fault.
You think I don't know
That was just perfect.
Nolans, we mustn't. Think of Carol.
That's Dr. Lance to you, Miss Flanagan.
So he's not just an asshole IRL, he's also an asshole in his world.
Dr. Hemlock.
I think we can skip that. Nothing happened here. That was just this interference minigame.
Welcome back. And I'm told we can now go live to Advance Headquarters, where the two leaders, Peter Clement and Julia Salisbury, are about to make their acceptance address.
Go for it, Pat.
Okay, well, thank you all for coming, and, well, where do I start? What a day.
They said we couldn't do
They
it.
certainly did.
They used every dirty, low-down, lying southern bastard they had against us, but you, the people, you saw right through their
I'm sorry about the language there.
Sorry about that. I've had a couple of celebratory pints. It makes me coarser than a granny's
Memorably put.
Just when he was wiping his face.
Throughout the campaign, you heard us say that Advance are not a political party. A party is what you have when things are going well. When the country is suffering, you don't need a party. You need a team. A team that can change things. But today is day
Swearing.
Speaking of team.
future. So perhaps we should all be celebrating.
Except for the rich. For them, the party's over. They shouldn't be celebrating. They should be putting their pants on and opening their dusty checkbooks.
Again, colourfully put, but not inaccurate. Before we came out here to address the nation, we used our executive powers to pass the Assets and Wealth Act. Working with the tax office, we have produced a definitive list of every person in the country with wealth into the millions.
You know the sort of... Probably
that was
you rather you don't.
a good cut, actually.
Because the likes of you and me are not welcome in their gated communities.
Tomorrow, we will be introducing a
That too.
sweeping reform of the tax system in this
Some
country.
good stuff in here.
No more hiding wealth offshore, no more trust funds or creative accounting. A simpler, fairer, unavoidable set of tax laws.
So, all you school snobs have got nowhere
That was
to
not so
hide.
much good stuff.
And earlier today, we revoked your passports. You want them back? You want to leave like you threatened before the election? That's fine. But first, you're going to pay up. You're going to pay back.
Advance are going to turn this country from a nation of warring individuals into a team.
A team!
To raise the living standards of us all.
The pundits said we'd have to raise billions, but you'll see when we've reclaimed what that's absolute ferret. So to you posh
People who pay you a pittance to serve them drinks in their private clubs. The people whose children you raise.
so they've got time to get you.
Advance have this to say to you.
It ends today.
We are coming for your sports cars and your mansions and your vineyards.
It ends today.
We will always been in the hands of the people who created it.
It ends today.
Yes, it ends today. And tomorrow we'll start making it fair again, just like we promised we would.
And until then, ladies and gents, I suggest we all get pissed.
I can't
Maybe
argue
I shouldn't
with
even
that.
show
Thank you for
all
your
that
time.
gameplay and just show this
Interesting
instead.
acceptance speech there from the leaders of
The end
Advance.
result, the
And our
broadcast.
apologies for the fruity language. Hopefully we got that bleeped out for you in time. If not,
Hopefully.
someone's going to be in trouble. So, as the country braces itself for new government, that's all from us this evening at the National Nightly News. We'll be back tomorrow with full coverage of the first day under Advance. I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Have a peaceful night.
Hi.
Yeah, that's pretty much the end, right? Watch one of your own broadcasts. Yes, what an achievement.